I think there's a difference between mindfulness and surrender. And surrender, surrender really involves dropping all the form, dropping the sense that you're doing anything, that you're teaching anything, just dropping all of it, 100%. Surrender, and then there's that alignment with the flow, the wu wei, the flow of what is. But you have to be careful, because the whole idea of form and spirituality and mindfulness, oftentimes, if you're doing a mindfulness practice, you're impeding that sense of complete surrender. Because you've got this practice going and your mind's working a practice. And so I think that spiritual people have the same challenges as improv people, in that if they're doing a form and they're following a form, and if they're coming from a sense of self, the flow is impeded. Not to say that that's bad, but there isn't a complete lining up with what is. That's outside of self, it's outside of form, it's outside of technique. There's a place where all the stories end. And there's no more story.
Yeah.
And that's a really place of peace. Because the stories aren't what's true. They're just a big, big creation. And that might be confusing to a lot of people, but I think you know what I'm saying. There's a place where all the stories stop. The story of me and my is the last story.
Right.
The story of self and other, the story of time, the story of separation. There's a place where all those stories ends. And you're like, when all those stories end, what are we left with? We're not left with anything. I won't make it through. We're already there. When we drop all the stories. There's nothing to do, there's nothing to become, there's nothing that isn't totally in alignment with what is. And it's a very benevolent place. It's not a negative thing.